This time on Custom Works, it's roll cage madness, and really, oh God, it's madness. Let's get to the workshop. So this time on Custom Works, we're looking at putting a roll cage in the 60s truck. Now, this episode will prove that, yeah, you know, like a bad craftsman blames his tools, but sometimes the tools are just rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Right, so let's take a look at how that whole roll cage debacle unfolded. All right then, so 60s truck, rigid, not rigid enough. When we get the 60s truck and we have the doors closed and we dance the air on it, you put your finger in the door jamb, you can feel, in fact, you don't even have to put your finger there, you can see that car flexes, and you get a lot of this on cars on chassis, maybe unibody, not so much, because it's a bit more, when a car's on a chassis, there's always going to be some flex. So, our solution to this is to put a roll cage. We've also already sort of got a roll cage in the back of the cab. We're going to bring supports through the roof section, down, past the dash, and into the body mounts on the floor. And hopefully that will stop that sort of flex. So how far have we got up to now? Let's take a look. There it is. Yeah, not much. All we've got is like one of them pumpy hydraulic benders, and we're trying to get all this shaped up. But this bit should just drop in and tack into place nicely, and then we'll make the other bit, hopefully. It's been really hard to make this, like really difficult. I think what me and Lee are going to do, Lee's got a bar bender that's only got a jack in it, and for some reason I own a huge hydraulic ram with a motor and pump. And I think we're going to blend those two things together to make our own electronic hydraulic bar bender, because that's just too much. It's too much. This job we're doing now is too hard. But anyway, let's get on with it. Let's get it done and then never do it again. Right, let's see if we can get this into position. Look at that, like it grew there. So you can see right down here, we've cut through the floor, and this is one of the body mounts that connects to the chassis. So we've gone onto there, and then we come up, we've had to go around this where the door bends. We've come up here, and then all the way back to the box section sort of brace that's in the car, which is also welded to a body mount and is incredibly strong. So once we've put that in and braced it, that should stop the body around the door doing that flex, our panel gap being not very good, possibly things cracking on the roof and front pillars as well. But all that will be eliminated once this is done. So here on Custom Works, I'm not saying I've got all the tools, because I've not, many I'd like, but one thing I haven't got is a really big hydraulic bender, but don't worry, we've hired one, and here it is. Look at this. Every single time we bend anything to return the ram, so to return the ram, we have to bash it down like this.
You've been They're on their best step.
Let me just whack it. And literally, that is it. Every single bend we've had to make, that's how hard it is. The ram doesn't return, like the thing that turns it on and off so it pumps or don't pump. That's just like, it seems to have a whole mind of its own. And the actual thing's not very good, but we are getting there. And believe me, we're going to build a pipe bender that will wow the world. Oh yes. Right, so we'd seen the ratchet strap, it works a lot better than just hammering it down. So at least we've got it back. We've got like one more bend to make, and then we're there. This thing has made an easy day a really awkward, difficult day. We've had so much trouble with that rented like pipe bender. Lee's bought his from home. We're gonna finish the job with that. What a nightmare. Just goes to show you ain't got the right tools. A job is way harder, and we have not had the right tools. But hopefully now, this is gonna give us the last bend and we'll get that cage sorted. on the door just grabbed me traps because I couldn't sit down.
I would say that's
Nearly ripped the arse out of my jeans. They're both looking pretty good now. Got that one tacked in, just about to tack that in. Then we're going to get some tubes across and it should be super strong. Now you may notice, if you're a drag race or anything, we have welded a few of the, two of the joints. But don't forget, we're not doing this because this is a race car. In fact, it's the other end of the scale. It's a custom, you know, it's low and slow. And there's no real need for a cage in a custom because the likelihood of rolling this car just pottering around is pretty low. But what we're doing it for is to get them panel gaps good, and so that not too much cracks or anything goes wrong. We're just bracing the car because when it dances on the air ride, it flexes. I mean, it really flexes. So this should take that out, fingers crossed. So all this is now welded up and it's all welded back into the, you know, like the structure of the car. We put some really big plates on the floor. If I move some of this rubbish, so we put like an 8mm plate on the floor, welded around there. That goes through to the outrigger on the chassis, and then it's welded all the way up, all the way back to this box section frame that stops the cab from wobbling around. And it's definitely made the car a hell of a lot stiffer and a hell of a lot safer. But there's been, you know, this has come at a price. Now then, I've been doing a lot of body work on this, and this door, other than the panel gap, this door is about there. And it fits nice, opens, closes, all this bit's really flat, it's been blocked and like hand blocked. However, in putting that roll cage in, somehow things have moved. And what we've ended up with is this, where the, you know, where like the door sill hammers on. When this door is shut, that is hard against it. It's literally right up against there. So what we're going to have to do is remove this section, arch that back probably 25-30mm, then it'll work. Oddly enough, bottoms of the door down here, the seal doesn't even touch the door. So like, what's that about? It's like the whole thing's changed shape. But a bit of metalwork in there should sort it out. When I first saw it, I did think that I was going to have to, you know, sort of reprofile this bit and like refill it all. And I was gutted. I was like, there's got to be another way. But then from sitting inside, seeing the door shut, I thought we can move that, get the door shut more, get the seal on, and everything will be okay. But really, that was a major blow the other day. I was not happy. And thankfully, Lee has spent like a whole day getting this door to fit, and it does fit absolutely amazingly now. And it opens and latches nice as well. That roll cage really did throw everything out of whack. I'd not really finished the panel gaps as part of the bodywork, so now I can do that and get them really tight. And Lee is skillfully working on the other side to make it just as good as this. So happy days all round. Okay, so got a bit of an update on the Meat Wagon. As you know, a couple of weeks ago we fitted an extra gas tank. Someone mentioned, quite rightly so, maybe that exhaust pipe is too close to the gas tank. Gas man agreed with you. You were right. I was wrong. And the gas man said, you've got to move that. So we've made a whole new exhaust for the Meat Wagon. And the Meat Wagon's always had a problem of that it's really slushy to drive. And I thought I'll have a morning trying to stop that happening. So I looked at every way I could do it. And in the end, I did solve the problem. And the Meat Wagon drives a lot better now. Basically what I did, I just doubled up the leaf springs. I had some really heavy leaf springs just sitting around the back. They've probably been there for 10 years. But essentially, I cut those down, extended the shackles so I could get them all in, and it just firmed up the back great. We drove it for like 3.5 hours down the motorway, and it was just perfect. So that's what happened to the Meat Wagon. And now, here's some shots of it with its excellent handling and performance actually on the road. Right, and so we've doubled the gas supply, we've fortified the rear suspension, and now we're going to drive it 3.5 hours down the motorway to take it back to Durham where it lives. So, air up, let's go. Wagon is now back with its owner, and let's hope it stays like that, well, at least for a while anyway. But everything should be tip-top on that now. So that's about all we've got time for this week. But next week we're going to be full steam ahead on the 60s truck, and hopefully we're going to have some more regular films than it's not been that regular recently. But hopefully we're going to be a lot more regular. But the sad thing is I do have another job as well, so sometimes I have to fit that in. But anyway, more on the 60s truck, more vids, more custom magic, more madness, all here on Custom Works. And as it's the end of the show, I suppose I ought to say, don't forget, click subscribe and do all of that. And it would be great as well to get to 10,000 subscribers before Christmas. So, don't forget, share the video. Put this upon everyone else. And I will see you next week. In the meantime, I thank you very much and good night.